Hi guys! Okay, so in the first video, you learned about the different levels of higher education: associates, bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. We talked about what it means to have more education in terms of your pay over your lifetime. And we started talking about credit hours, which means how many hours the classes you have to take are per week. So a 3 credit hour class means 3 hours per week. You're in that class to receive 3 credits. We learned that the full-time status of classes, is 12 credit hours. And we learned anything less than 12 is part-time. We learned that the average freshman takes between 12 and 18 credit hours per semester. So now we're going to move on. Who should attend a community college? Well, there's this little flow chart that I created because you don't have to attend a university, a 4-year university, right away. At least not everybody. So let's go this route. You should attend a community college if you're getting an associate's degree or certificates on specific job training, if it's offered. So like I said in the previous video, dog groomers, sonogram people who do the sonograms, or the ultrasound technician, linemen, welders. Okay, it just depends on the job. There's plenty of jobs that are certificate-based or associates-based. Even nursing. And right here I have listed some of those. Skilled trades, 2 years, nursing, business, computer programming, paralegal, paramedic. There are plenty of 2-year or associate programs. Another way you can attend a community college is if you do plan to transfer to a university. There are times where they will have 2+2 programs, meaning 2 years at a community college plus 2 years at your university will get you your bachelor's degree. Or sometimes they even have 3+1, which means 3 years at a community college and 1 year at a university will get you a bachelor's degree. And I'm about to show you why these options, if you're going to a university, are really good options. So, I just kind of talked about this. You can either enroll as a freshman at a university, and you can have 4 years at your university. It tends to be the most costly, but there are more scholarship opportunities compared to if you transfer. You can also transfer from a community college. So you can go to a community college, you can live at home, it probably has night classes, helps you explore majors, and then there's this thing called the Michigan Transfer Agreement, which means that if you click this little link down here, it'll take you to this website, and on here, I'm going to have to move this around a little bit, but it does allow you in Michigan to transfer certain courses from community college to university. And then they have all the universities and community colleges that in Michigan who have agreed to this. So the list of community colleges is obviously very long, which means you have more options for community college. And then your public universities, all your major ones are on there, which means that you can then take your community college credits, which are way, way, way cheaper than a university, and transfer them over. And then another way is by entering a 3+1 or a 2+2 program, which I talked about in the last slide. This is your least expensive option. The least amount of schools do participate in this, though, meaning it is only a small portion of programs that will allow this. But I do know that Ferris, Northwood, Siena Heights University, U of M Flint, and Western all do have programs that fall in the 3+1 or 2+2. I'm going to show you why those programs are cost efficient. So if you're getting a bachelor's degree and you enroll as a freshman at CMU, so you're going to college as a freshman and you go to CMU, your tuition is going to cost you $48,000 for the 4 years, and your room and board, which is your dormitory, is going to cost you $38,000, which is a total of $86,000 by the time you graduate, which, by the way, you probably can't pay for, so you'll have to get what? Yes, a student loan. Now, if you do a 2+2 program, and again, disclaimer, not all programs have 2+2s, but lots of them do. You have to check it out and do the research for yourself. If you do 2 years of LCC and 2 years of Central Michigan University, your tuition is only going to be $36,000 because LCC is much cheaper. Then, obviously, LCC doesn't have dorms, so you'd live at home, and so you'd only have to pay 2 years at CMU for room and board, which would be $19,000, which then takes your total from $86,000 for a bachelor degree to $54,000, which is a huge difference. We're talking about probably 5 or more years of payments taken right off if you're getting a student loan. And lastly, if you do have a community college 3+1, that means 3 years at a community college, so your tuition is only going to be $30,000. You only have to live on campus at the CMU for 1 year, and this brings your bachelor's degree to $39,500. So I ask you guys, is your degree or is 4 years at CMU worth $86,000 to you? If it is, good, that's fine. That's a personal choice. But if it's not, if you don't want to start your life in debt, some of these other options cut your cost pretty much in half. And it's a really good option because you still have a degree that says CMU at the end. It never says LCC, or it never says Montcalm Community College or Delta Community College. It will say the place you graduated from, the university you graduated from, and no one will know the difference. So why pay $86,000 when you could pay $54,000, or better, even $39,000? Moving on, different ways to pay for college. You can get scholarships. You have academic scholarships, athletic scholarships, competitive scholarships, and local. Academic means your grades. Athletic means your sports. Competitive means those essay ones. Local means ones you get from here before you move away. Scholarships do not have to be paid back. For example, my husband and I give out a scholarship at the end of each senior year, and it's in the name of our good friend who passed away. And this year we gave out $300. Next year we're hoping to make it $400. We just give that money to a student to help them with their college or their program. It is the best because you don't have to pay it back. Another one you don't have to pay back is a grant. And usually these grants are based on financial struggle or financial situations. It is also financial aid that does not have to be repaid, but it is needs-based. So if your family isn't showing a financial need, typically you won't receive a grant. A scholarship usually is not needs-based because it's on academics, athletics, competitive, or local, but grants are needs-based and they do not have to be repaid. Now, a student loan. Whenever you loan somebody something or they loan you something, you better believe you're going to have to pay it back, and with interest. There are 2 types of loans. There are government loans and there are private loans. You must apply for these and be approved. They must be repaid over time with interest. Government loans have limits and lower interest rates. But because they have lower interest rates, they have limits on how much each person can have. Private loans have higher limits, meaning you can take out as much as you want, but they also have higher interest rates. So you have to be careful. You don't want to get into a situation where you exceed your government loans and have to take out private loans. It happens to many, many people, and they end up not being able to pay it back. Student loans have to be repaid because it is a loan, whether it's government or private. There's also the GI Bill, which you can get for serving in the military, and it could cover nearly all the expenses for a bachelor's degree. Now, there are stipulations to your GI Bill, meaning how long you have to serve in the military, how long you have to use it, but I will try to have our Sergeant Keck meet up with us to talk about this with you. He does a much better job explaining all that than I do because he has lived it. So we'll try to meet up with him. Maybe we can get him to video in with me or something like that. The next one is tuition reimbursement, where your company you work for pays part of your tuition. And that can happen also. We have a graduate from our school who came in and spoke last year, Mr. Hagan. He works for a company right now that they are paying for his college. And when he's done with his college, then he'll have his bachelor's degree and he'll continue working for that company, but at a higher pay scale because they helped him get that next level degree. So there are many opportunities. You just have to go out there and look for them. And those are some of the ways you can pay for your college. Okay, so let's talk about what we learned in these two video lessons. Number one, we learned about the different levels of degrees: associates, bachelor's, master's, or doctorate. We learned that this is about 2 years, this is about 4. These are called undergraduate degrees, these two. Then your graduate degrees are your master's and doctorate, and these are on top of these degrees. We learned a credit hour means the number of hours you attend per week for a class. So if you have a 3 credit hour class, it means you attend 3 hours per week, that class, to get 3 credits. We learned that 12 credit hours equals a full-time student, and less than 12 credit hours means you are a part-time student. That does affect your student loans and scholarships. Average credit hour for a student is 12 to 18 credit hours per semester. That would mean you are going 12 to 18 hours of school per week. Think about it this way. Right now you go 8 hours a day times 5 days a week, so you go about 40 hours of school, so it drops it down to 12 to 18, but your coursework is a lot harder. You have a 2+2 option where you go to 2 years of community college and 2 years of university and receive a bachelor's, or 3+1, 3 years at a community college and 1 year at a university. The options are good because they help you to pay less for the same degree. Speaking of paying, we learned about scholarships, which are where you can get those as an athletic scholarship, an academic scholarship, a local scholarship, or competitive. Grants, which are usually needs-based, meaning income of your parents. And then we have student loans, which do have to be repaid back because it is a loan. And those can be government or private. There's also the GI Bill, meaning so you serve in the military and then they pay for your schooling, or tuition reimbursement, where certain companies will pay for your schooling as long as you work for them once you graduate. I know this is a lot of information, and I have this video here for you so you can watch it as many times as you need. You can go back and watch it over and over again. I'm sure you will, because why wouldn't you? And keep this information because it's very important that you know this. Nobody told me these things when I was your age, and I would have saved myself a lot of money and a lot of misunderstanding if someone would have filled me in. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something from this. Good luck with your next assignment.